I dumped my girlfriend because of her friends, not because of anything she did. I've been with my GF for just over a year and overall she's a nice person, but her friends are absolutely cancerous. The main ringleader has a kid and muscled her long-term boyfriend into an open relationship. She parties several times a week and has relationships with other guys while her pathetic doormat of a boyfriend takes care of her 2-year-old son. The other routinely cheats on her fiancé and even had relationships with one of my brothers in a bathroom stall the first time my friends and my girlfriend's friends went out. They pressured her to start an OnlyFans and all kinds of rudeness, but my girlfriend justifiably tells them to kick rocks because she's in a relationship. This only results in them throwing controlling boyfriend accusations my way. My girlfriend's last 2 boyfriends were complete deadbeats, one of whom was a recovering addict, so this is the only normal relationship she's been in for the past 5 years. I knew it was only be a matter of time before she caved. You can't be around serial cheaters and dirtbags without dabbling with it yourself at some point. And I can't exactly tell her to cut off her childhood friends without some sort of resentment festering, so I did us both a favor and ended the relationship. She freaked out, but I just told her I was in a dark place and couldn't be in a relationship. I didn't have it in me to tell her it was because her friends are actual human toilets. This isn't the first girl I've broken up with because they're friends. Edit. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people ask why I don't just tell her the truth. But what would that accomplish exactly? I'm not planning on getting back with her and telling her that the reason I wanted to break up was because of her toxic friends would only drive a wedge between them at a time when she needs all the support she can get. I get the whole just tell her the truth thing, but that would just cause more harm if she thinks the people she thought she could turn to were the reason she's dealing with a breakup in the first place. Edit 2. A lot of you seem to think that once I told her the reason, she'd suddenly open her eyes and see her friends for what they were. That's not happening. She was around when most of the cheating and bad things happened and even lost her thing on me once for suggesting I tell the girl's fiancé. She's been friends with them since they were 4 to 6 years old. Cutting them off would be next to impossible for her. Edit 3. Although my girlfriend never did anything directly to me, she would lose her mind and side with them whenever I brought up her friend's questionable behavior. She wasn't an innocent bystander. She directly or indirectly lied on her friend's behalf and covered for them a bunch of times. Oh, Jen stayed over at my place, she just watched movies and drank with me and OP, etc. Bear in mind some poor sap brought the girl she always lied for a rortly $10K engagement ring. She's not a poor victim, lol. Final edit. So I told the fiancé who was being cheated. I found a lot of incriminating stuff in my text conversations with my ex and a few incriminating photos. I got a hold of his number and sent him everything. He called me and we had an hour-long conversation where I basically broke down the entire cheating timeline for him. She wasn't with us on the 14th, she was at XZY's place, etc. I've been waiting a long time to tell this guy that he was about to sign his life away to a serial cheater, and I deeply resent the fact that I had to stay quiet about this. The poor person broke down. It's hard to hear a grown man cry like that. He had his suspicions but never had any real proof. Looks like the wedding's off and his cheating ex-fiancé will need to start looking for a new place to live. I invited him out with me and my brothers this weekend because he met most of his friends through his fiancé, and I'm 110% sure they'll all ditch him or try to gaslight him into reconciling things. He and the other guy were the real victims in this situation, not my ex. I don't care about the consequences. She and her friends can do whatever they want. This whole thing made me realize how monstrous my ex was for covering this up for so long, and I feel disgusted with myself for being complicit. I wouldn't insult her. She and her evil toilet buddies deserve each other. Comments. 1. I think some commenters are partly right saying you could have talked to her, but they can't assume you're afraid of confrontation. We do not know what went on in your head, and if you felt it was right to move on for whatever reason, then I respect that. Pursuing a relationship with this person may have caused a lot of misery for everyone. Okay, one option would be to talk about it to your partner, which I think lots of people would more likely do, but it's also okay to step out of things if you believe it's the correct way to proceed. 2. Yeah, was thinking that, but then I read the edits. The girlfriend defending her friend's behavior is an insane red flag. 3. Pretty sure she's already aware of these behaviors from her friends, and if she is and still chooses to associate with them, then she likely would have gone that route with you as well. Some alcohol, some substances, some peer pressure, you dodged a grenade, my dude. OP, if she is and still chooses to associate with them, then she likely would have gone that route. Exactly bro, this all happened right in front of her and at no point did she call them out on it. 4. It was a good choice to cut her off. My boyfriend felt the same way about some of my friends, and it was either stay friends with them or lose my relationship, and truthfully choosing him over those friendships is the best thing I could have done. We're now 5 years into our relationship, bought our first house at the ages of 25 and 22, and we own all of our vehicles and have 3 beautiful children. He works his body off for us and I'm able to be a stay-at-home mom even through the pandemic. She could have been in love and happy or drunk with her friends, and based on what I've read she would not have chosen you. I'm sorry to say that so bluntly, but you made the right choice. OP, oh no, I was under no illusion that she would have ditched lifelong friends for some guy she'd been dating for just over a year. But I hope that she does cut ties with for her sake, because they are going to systematically ruin every good relationship she has in the future. Or break the mind of the poor person who stays until they are fine with their behavior. LOL. 5. Well, I would have maybe talked to her at least. I get why you didn't, but that way she could have had the opportunity to defend herself, or at least know why it is that you're ending things. I wouldn't want to be with someone with friends like that, don't get me wrong. We're the sum of the people we hang out with most often, and while I could see exceptions existing, I think that's usually the case. I myself have friends who have cheated on their partners while never having done anything of the like myself. They aren't serial cheaters or the type of level your ex's friends seem to be on, though. If she didn't do anything, I do find it a tad bit unfair to just break it off like that. If it was easy enough for you to do, I'm assuming it was the right choice, though. OP, I did think about talking to her about it, but the first people she'd discuss it with would be the very people I talked to her about, so it's a bit of a catch-22. I knew that at some point it would boil down to a me or them situation, and that's just unfair on the both of us. Pulling her away from them would be beneficial for our relationship in the long run, but it would also breed resentment. As gross as they are still her friends. 6. Man, everyone here giving you bad vibes for not giving it a chance are dumb and obviously have never been in an abusive relationship or around toxic people. People won't change just because you've asked them politely. There needs to be incentive to change, and even then it happens seldom. People like this will always be like this. I recently got out of a bad relationship similar to this myself, and had I let it go any longer I would have been that lowly doormat that you refer to in your story. Good for you for looking out for yourself and taking care of yourself. Shows a large scope of maturity many of the folks in here may be lacking. When I was dating this one train wreck, I had all the red flags going off, stayed with her and tried to work it out. Once I heard her one friend basically was arranging a marriage of convenience and the other friend was in an open poly relationship with an older couple. Don't look back, buddy, you did the right thing. Letting people like this know reasoning behind your actions just gives their pea-brained minds more incentive to begin to stalk you or do other things to you in malicious intent. OP, good grief, finally, someone with a frame of reference who has experienced this bad experience firsthand. I don't know why they keep underplaying how much our friends influence our behavior. I think it probably due to the fact that 90% of Reddit users white knight and a handful of well-meaning people. There's no working something out when it requires the other person to cut off friends they effectively see as siblings. And even if they were to, it would only lead to resentment in the long run. Getting a clean break is the best option. I hope she can see them for that they are, and she realizes that they'll sabotage 99.9% of her healthy, normal relationships in the future, but I wouldn't be holding my breath, bro. And you're right. Who's to say I tell her and she tells them and they start looking for ways to screw me or start spreading rumors? I wouldn't put it past them.